Welcome to Solar Age, the podcast that shines a light on the path to a brighter, more sustainable future. Join us as we explore the transformative power of technology in creating a Solarpunk world.
Hey, Solarpunk fans, and welcome to another deep dive. You know, if you're listening to this and you're a regular listener to Solar Age, you know that I like to really get into the latest in tech and trends. And I especially like to focus on those that are pushing us toward a better future, a brighter future. So when you sent in this article from Digital Trends all about Boston Dynamics' latest robot Atlas, I knew we had to dig into this one.
Yeah, it is a pretty good pick. This is, this isn't just like another cool robot. This is like a peek into how robotics is evolving.
Yeah.
And what it could mean for a potential Solarpunk world.
Exactly. This article talks about a new version of Atlas that ditches all of the old hydraulic systems and is going fully electric. I mean, for you and me, that might just sound like a technical detail.
Yeah, but it's actually a pretty big change. I mean, think about it, no more reliance on fossil fuels to power Atlas. I mean, it's aligned with all those renewable energy goals that we're always talking about on Solar Age, right? Yes. Plus, a fully electric system means that Atlas is way stronger, more agile, and even more dexterous than all the previous versions.
Yeah, the article was saying that it can move in ways that exceed human capabilities. Is that even possible? How do they pull that off?
I think it's a mix of really good engineering and artificial intelligence. This is where it gets really cool for Solarpunk fans. I mean, Atlas isn't just a machine anymore. It's an example of what we call embodied AI.
Embodied AI, what is that?
So it's basically AI that exists within and can actually interact with the physical world. So instead of AI just being lines of code on a computer, now it's actually taking shape and performing tasks in the real world.
So instead of just playing chess against a computer,
Yeah.
we can have a robot playing tennis with us.
Yeah. Exactly. In Atlas's case, it's using this embodied AI, things like reinforcement learning and computer vision to work on its own. I mean, you can think of it like Atlas is constantly learning and adapting based on what it does and what happens to it, just like us humans.
And the article mentioned this video the Boston Dynamics released. That kind of shows Atlas working.
Yeah.
It was almost like in a warehouse setting.
Yeah. And it's not just moving boxes around or something. Atlas is moving engine covers between containers.
Yeah.
And it has to know what the objects are, plan its path, it grabs the covers, and even has to get around obstacles.
Wait, I think the article said that it could recover from, what do they call it, action failures? If it trips or if it drops something?
Yeah, that's right. So it uses its computer vision and AI to understand what's happening around it, adjust what it was going to do and just keep going. It's crazy to watch.
I know, this is really feeling like we're in a sci-fi movie or something. But it's real life.
It is. And for those of us that, to imagine a Solarpunk future, this is a huge step. Imagine if robots like Atlas were doing all the dangerous or repetitive jobs and people could focus on stuff that's more creative and fulfilling.
Okay, so we've got this amazing robot powered by clean energy, can work alongside humans. This is the future, right?
Yeah, I think so. It seems like it. I think if this testing that they're doing goes well, we could see this partnership between humans and robots becoming more and more normal.
Hyundai, who owns Boston Dynamics, is going to be the first to test Atlas in their automotive plants.
That's what the article said. I think it's a good move for both of them. Hyundai gets a super advanced workforce, and then Boston Dynamics gets a ton of real-world data to help them make Atlas even better.
So, for those of you listening, if all this goes well, how long do you think it'll be before we see robots just like Atlas working in factories all over the world? 5 years? 10 years? Maybe 20 years?
It's hard to say, but they are making progress so fast. Things that we thought were only in sci-fi a while ago are real now.
Okay. Before we get too excited and carried away predicting the future, let's get back to this article and see what else we can find out. What else did you see in here?
Well, one thing that stood out to me was how this tech could really change the future of work. And I think that's super important to the Solar Age folks listening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we talk a lot about what kind of future we want to make, sustainable, equitable, and all that. But what about when robots like Atlas are everywhere in the workforce? Are they going to take our jobs?
I think that's something that a lot of people are worried about. And, to be fair, even the article mentions that people might be a little freaked out. But they also talk about how Boston Dynamics sees these robots working with humans, not really replacing them.
So it's more about robots doing dangerous or repetitive jobs.
Yeah.
Or stuff that's hard for humans to do.
Yeah. Think about it. Robots like Alice could do the heavy lifting on construction sites or work in places that are dangerous like mines, and then that would free up the human workers to do things that need creativity and, that kind of critical thinking, things that robots can't really do.
I like that.
Yeah.
It really fits with this Solarpunk vision of, using technology to create a world where humans don't have to do all the hard work and they can do more fulfilling things.
Right. Who knows? Maybe it'll even lead to like totally new jobs and industries that we can't even imagine right now.
So give me an example. What kind of new job do you think might pop up because of robots like Atlas?
Okay, well, think about like all the stuff that needs to be built just to support all these robots. You'd need designers and engineers and programmers, technicians, trainers, people who are like experts in robotics.
So it's like not just about building the robots, but like making this whole world around them.
Exactly. And all that stuff needs humans to be creative and work together. You can't just program a robot to do it.
I still feel a little uneasy about it though. Change can be scary, even when it might end up being good.
Yeah.
What about the people whose jobs like actually go away because of all this new tech?
You're right. You can't just pretend like that's not going to happen. I think the thing to do, and the article kind of says this too, is to be prepared, invest in education and make sure people can learn new skills.
Like train people so that they can work in this new world with robots.
Right. If we're smart about this, it could be a chance to make things more fair and make a society where everybody can contribute and benefit.
That does sound like a Solarpunk future.
Yeah. But we gotta be optimistic and realistic at the same time. There will be problems, but if we plan and work together, I think we can get to a future where technology makes humans better, not replaces them.
A lot of times the conversation about AI and robots is, all doom and gloom. I like how we're looking at the good things that could happen.
It's a big shift in how we think about it. It's the kind of thinking we need if we want to make a future that's like Solarpunk. Sustainable, fair, and good for people.
Totally agree. Okay, I want to keep going with this. I'm really curious what you think about embodied AI in a bigger sense. So we've been focusing on Atlas, working in factories. But I feel like embodied AI could be used for way more than that.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, this is just the beginning. The thing about embodied AI is that it could totally change pretty much every part of how we live.
Okay, I'm listening. What else could this be used for? What could it really change?
Well, think about healthcare. Robots could be helping surgeons do those super precise operations or maybe take care of elderly patients in their homes.
So not replacing doctors and nurses, but making their jobs easier and giving them more time to, actually connect with patients.
Exactly. And it's not just healthcare either. What about education? Imagine robots that can tutor kids and change how they teach based on how that kid learns, or working with teachers in the classroom to help the students who need a little extra help.
It really does feel like we're about to see some big changes.
We are. And for the Solar Age people listening, this is where it gets exciting. If we do this right, we could use this technology to make the world better.
You mean a world where robots and humans work together to solve our problems?
Yeah, it's like a Solarpunk story happening for real, and that's why I think people are so excited about it. But we do have to remember there are some risks too.
What? I mean, every new technology has some downsides, right?
Of course. And we have to talk about those. Things like, people's privacy and making sure the AI isn't biased. And what happens when we give machines so much power to do things on their own?
It's like we're making the rules for how to interact with the world all over again. And we have to make sure those rules are good.
Yeah. We need to think about the hard questions. How do we use this tech for good? How do we stop the bad stuff from happening? How do we make sure it helps everyone, not just a few people?
I don't think there are easy answers to those questions, but it's good that we're at least talking about them. What we choose to do now will change the future.
That's what I hope people take away from this. We all have to learn and be involved and help make the world we want.
To everyone listening, don't just watch this happen. Be part of it. Ask questions and be part of making things better.
And stay curious. Who knows what amazing stuff is just around the corner?
If you enjoyed this episode of The Solar Age, don't forget to subscribe, and hit the bell button so you won't miss any future episodes. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below about what resonated with you or share any ideas you'd like us to explore in upcoming episodes. Let's keep the conversation about a brighter future going.